This video will go through example 4, which will be an example of a line graph. So here we can see columns A through D are the monthly paycheck amount for Tom's part-time job over a 4-year period. And we want to make a graph to show how Tom's yearly salary is compared each year. So we want to determine the best type of graph, and here a line graph will be the best choice because we're comparing it per year. So when you have a comparison over time, that is a big indicator that a line graph is the best way to go. So I'm going to type in my answer for why a line graph is the best choice. So here I stated a line graph is best for showing how a quantity changes over time. In this case, a line graph can show how Tom's pay changes over the 4 years. So filling in our table, we can see that they want the total pay per year versus what's listed is more than likely his monthly paycheck. So we actually want to combine all these values, add them all up to get his yearly pay. So we're going to use the sum function to do that. It's again one of the more common functionalities of a spreadsheet program, and it really is powerful because it allows us to treat the value in our cell essentially like a calculator. It'll calculate whatever we're asking it to do. So I'm going to go ahead and type in equals, and the function we're using is the sum function. So if you type in SUM, you're going to see several different sum functionalities. We want just the normal sum one. So you have to do an open parenthesis, and then we're going to state which cells we want to add up. So if I click on the first cell to represent his pay, the location A2, and then while holding my mouse, I just drag down to make sure all my cells are selected. So here we can see it's automatically typing in those locations for us. So A2 is the first cell, then it puts a colon to show that we're doing all the values within the same row, ending at cell A13. And then I close my parentheses and hit enter. Then for the next entry, we do the same thing, equals SUM, open parentheses. I'm going to select by clicking, holding my mouse, and dragging to list all the values in the column for 2014. So those are entries B2 through B13. Close my parentheses and click enter, and then equals SUM, and so on. So sum, I'm going to select the cells that I want to add up, close my parentheses and enter, and then equals sum, open parentheses, select all of my cells. Oops. And then here I hit enter by mistake, but if you do that, it'll actually close the formula for you and calculate it. So here, if you don't necessarily close the parentheses, you're actually going to be okay. But I always think it's a good habit to close it because then I know that I've actually completed my entire formula and there's nothing that's left. So here are my total pay values. So now we're going to create our line graph. So I'm going to select, and then holding my mouse and dragging, select all of the cells for the years and total pay. I'm going to go to Insert, Chart, and under Chart Type, we can find the line graph. And there's several different line graph options, so you just want to make sure the one that it gave you looks like what you want. Here I have the years, and then I'm seeing the total pay. So that actually is the setup that I was hoping for. And then as we've seen in the past, the program just puts the graph in the center of your view, which often is where you don't want your graph. So just select kind of the background white area and then drag your graph to where you want it actually located. So then from here, I can go ahead and edit any pieces I want edited. So the axes look good, year, and then total pay, I'm actually going to change that to be income. And we always want the quantity and then what it's measured in. So here it's measured in dollars. Okay, and then for the title of my graph, I want to go ahead and change that to be Tom's yearly income. And I don't like how they put it always in the left. I like my titles in the center there. One other thing that I want to include as well are where my data values are located. So you can see here we can probably estimate the value, but we want it to be a little bit more exact than that. So if I click on that part of the graph, it'll open up the appropriate menu. So here I want series, and then if I scroll down, I want data labels. So that will just add a label to any of those data values so I can know exactly where they're located. And then it also gives me the option for the position. So you can see that the position being on top doesn't quite work. There's some overlap in my numbers, and this one's missing. So I can go ahead and change the position to be somewhere else. Let's do it to maybe be below. And that works a lot better. So once you have the graph looking like you want, all the labels look right, if you need to change the font or formatting, you've done all of that. Again, you can go to copy chart and then paste that chart into whatever document that you want it to occur.